Good evening. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 5, Episode 17, DJI Mini 3 coming soon. We are joined by very special guests, Captain Ray Kelly and Johnnie Drone Flyer, Johnnie Alfonso. Ray and Johnnie, how are you this evening?
I'm doing well. Doing very well, really. Yeah.
Awesome.
Beautiful day here. Thank you for having me, Bill, and it's a pleasure to be on it because it's a pleasure to meet you in person over at the South Florida.
Yes, and I gotta say this, okay? As much fun as it is to fly drones, it's even better getting to hub, shake hands with you guys and talk and just
Hey, and hug. They had a lot of hugging going on. That's okay.
There was hugging going on too. Absolutely, yeah.
Captain Ray's a hugger.
Well, I got to work on getting you a Build a Drone Reviewer shirt there, Johnny. Okay, I got to work on that. So that's in my list. Okay, that's one of those things that's in my list. But we got a good show tonight. Going to talk about a couple things, and then of course, you know what the main topic is. But I don't want to beat that to a pulp. So Marcus tonight, he is, many of you know, he's up in Vancouver, British Columbia, having something or other to do with his Corvette. So he's in his heaven right now.
He is.
So I'm sure he's going to enjoy that. Ron today went to visit his dad. His dad's in his 90s. He lives in Pennsylvania. So he took the whole day, and I said, enjoy your time with your dad. So he's doing that. So Ron's not going to join us tonight. But hey, we're not skipping a beat. We got two of the best in here with Ray and Johnny, and we're going to have a good time tonight. Okay.
Yeah, I saw Ron put up a picture. Yeah, he definitely. I know he goes every so often to visit Dad, and that's good. Great.
Yeah, and I tell you what. After your go ahead, Ray.
You and your show were one of the first ones that I started watching when I started getting involved with drones. You and Drone Nation, and I learned so much listening to you and the tips and everything you talked about. I really got to say thank you, because you were sort of a role model for me.
Well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, Ray. And Johnny,
absolutely. You was one of the first ones I started watching. I think I look forward to Tuesday, and I stumbled across, I guess it was Xeno Nation back then. So yeah, that was probably two of the nights that I watched for sure. Monday and Tuesday drones was kind of my thing,
Well, it's it's so as Johnny has done a great job of cataloging all these shows on the different nights, and that kudos to you, Johnny, for doing that, because that's a
there
you go. Ray has it up on.
Well, Captain Ray, I've said it many times. Captain Ray and Maddie, believe it or not, I would call them, and Ray don't really need that list. He acts like he needs it, but he knows every show. I would say, Ray, who's on what night and what time, and Maddie's pretty damn good too. So they absolutely helped me put it together. But yeah, and it's just a guide, and nobody's name is bigger than nobody's. All it is a guide. And listen, there might be 50 more drone shows we don't know about. I don't think so, but that drone is very popular, and it's a fun little guide. If you don't want to watch TV,
it's been a valuable resource. And one of the things that I want to say about Ray, I'm going to toot his horn again a little bit for him, is the meetup was beyond my wildest dreams. It was so wonderful.
Wow.
Just seeing everybody. And just being there, it felt good. I mean, I had one of those good feelings that you get after either your team wins a game or you've had a good day, kind of thing. That's what it felt like going home after that. And
that's what it's all about. It's meeting the other drone pilots and talking to them, and not so much flying. I mean, it's great to fly too, but and believe me, I had so much help. Johnny helped me, and Maddie, and Brad, and Bill. It was a team effort all around, but the most important thing is that people came.
Yeah.
They came, and we had well over 100 people there this year. So
especially since
I got to say thank you to you and your wife for coming, Bill, and obviously Johnny and everybody. So thank you all. Whoever came to South Florida.
And I got to say, Bill, you missed last year. I know you were moving right at the time, but now that you've been, I know I was very kind of iffy about going last year. And of course, now if you missed it, you really be kind of I would say teed off at yourself.
Oh yeah, no, it's like when you get that dessert that you can't do without, and then you're missing it. You don't know what you're missing, kind of thing, and that's what it is. You don't know what you're missing. So those of you who think you were on the fence this year about coming to it, do yourself a favor, come down. It is just an absolutely wonderful time. How many you got on there, Ray?
We're up to 19 now.
Ray, you need a new legal pad there.
This is awesome. This is just
Bob Casey said he's definitely coming last night, so he's number 19.
Oh,
well, you know who else we need to get? We need to get Lon down here. Okay. Well,
yeah, he was there for the first one. Yeah,
Lon was there last year.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was hoping to meet him this year, and I was disappointed I wasn't able to make it, and hope he can make it next year, because he's a great source of a lot of good information.
He is.
Lon
gets picked on about being, he even put Mr. Abrasive on his title there last night. I was laughing.
I know.
But no, he is definitely, he knows a lot about cameras and the drones and the apertures, and he's definitely a resource for good information. I will say.
Yes, he is. You perfectly put, John. It really was. Let's greet a few people here before we start diving into things. Mr. Stephen Ewing is here. Thank you, Stephen, for showing up as always, because we know it is an effort for you. Drone Views Media. Dr. Ted is in the house. Leonard Oglesby is here. Let's see who else. Drone Shots. Eric Kimball. Andrew Silverfox. Drone Shots. Fly Zone Drone. Hal 9000. Uncle Bill's here. Fly Guy Merrill. Michael Wright is here. Eric Kimball. Art is here. Welcome, Art. Rich Flower 32. And okay, I think we got everybody covered.
Alan,
okay,
don't forget Alan, all the way from Ireland too.
Alan, yeah, really. That's just these guys that make the effort to watch this show. It does not go unnoticed by us. I'll tell you that right now. It really is pretty doggone incredible.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
The first thing that I wanted to talk about tonight, and we're going to get to the Mini 3 here in just a little bit. Now, it's one of these things for me. Let's go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm trying to fumble around here. Now, federal government is expanding who can track and zap suspect drones. Okay. And I thought this was interesting, because everybody's all hep on privacy and all that kind of stuff. And I wanted to go ahead and cover this article here a little bit, because I thought, we need to take a look at this here. White House seeks to enlarge actors authorized to track and zap suspect drones. The Biden administration has asked Congress to dramatically expand the number of government and public agencies from federal to local that are legally permitted to identify, track, and disable potentially malicious drones flying in U.S. airspaces. Domestic Counter Unmanned Aircraft Systems National Act Plan. The White House released Monday. The Biden administration appeals to Congress to renew existing legislation legalizing counter UAV action by the Departments of Homeland Security, Justice, Defense, State, as well as the CIA and NASA in limited situations. It also calls for new measures to be enacted, allowing local officials to take defensive measures against drones they fear are up to no good. Okay. I'm going to kind of let you guys read this article, but I think the one thing that kind of concerns me about this is, okay, who's going to say what a suspect drone is and what a suspect drone isn't? Okay?
Intent. That's a big word.
Yes, well, that is a big word here. And go ahead,
it's
Ray.
funny because remote pilot remote ID was such a big hot topic, a year and a half ago. It was a big topic that the government has no right to know where we are and our location. But I really think it's a good thing that the government can track suspected illegal drones. I really do. I agree.
I agree with you on that. I think, and see, if they use this in conjunction with remote ID, which I'm sure they will, the bad actors are going to be taken care of. The ones who are doing things like you shouldn't do, like flying over stadium with people in it, and flying over airports and causing interference with airplanes, and or maybe flying over a military installation. Those things will get addressed and taken care of. And I think remote ID is really kind of a key here. I'm just worried that some of these local municipalities, they seem a little eager I know, and I'll give you an example here. Over in Orlando, in order to fly your drone, it's impossible to fly a drone in the city of Orlando, Florida. The reason is it's not really impossible, but in order for you to fly, you need to buy a pass, and it costs $20. Okay. And, it really discourages people from flying in Orlando. Now, there's a large part of the area, especially north of Orlando, where Disney is. It's a no-fly zone. Okay. And that was established a long time ago. But it's known as, not a drone friendly area over in Orlando. And you got to go to outlying parks and places to fly your drone there. And, these local municipalities seem to, want to really, dictate everything and control all the flow here. I'm worried they'll get a little carried away.
Well, I know they could, but I'm not really worried about it. I mean, they're not against all drones. They're just against the reckless pilots. I would say I would like the categories like that. The reckless flyers. I know there's certain municipalities. I know in California, and there's some. California is the ones I'm familiar with, where you cannot take off or land like on city-owned property. Mm-hmm. But I don't like here in North Palm Beach. It's a very drone-friendly community. Thank God, it really is. And same with Long Island, where I fly when I go back to New York. I'm not worried about it. I'm really not, Bill.
Good. Yeah, I don't. For me, I don't have any issues around here. People seem, over on the Gulf Coast here in Tampa, it really has not really ever cropped up that has been a problem. Okay. And you got to be smart. One of the other things is, and I think both Johnny and Ray, you'll agree with me, is you got to be smart where you fly. Okay. Don't go near where there's a stadium. Don't go near where there's a downtown area with activities going on. Be smart about where you go and where you fly, and then you won't have instances like this. You
mentioned about a stadium, and I wanted to fly the spring training stadium right here, and I did, but I did it before spring training started. The stadium was totally empty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The only thing I do agree with you, Bill, there's a lot of, I don't say so much around here, but I know even in Orange Beach, where we had a condo in Alabama, they just have a no drones in Orange Beach. But it does state you can take off on your private property, which you can be a part ownership, which means a condo, but then you can't fly on a beach. Well, you're taking off at the beach. So the wording is very, it's kind of, it's kind of on the borderline, but I would have a problem because a lot of municipalities may just post a sign, no drones. Well, that could become a problem,
Yeah. Stephen has a good comment there too. If you're not doing anything, you shouldn't have to worry about it.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. And Stephen's 100% right. So, you be smart and I gotta say 99% of us who fly drones are smart. Okay. We obey the rules, we do what we're supposed to do. And, it's just that 1% that's the bad apple that, gets the headlines and makes trouble for the rest of us.
No, I agree. Yeah.
And I'm glad, and I'm real happy about remote ID. At first I was on the fence about it, but now the more I think about it, the more I think it's going to prevent a lot of these bad actors.
So Bill, where are we at with remote ID? I mean, it's supposed to be October, November, or I wonder if we're online on schedule.
Yeah, I heard it. I heard October, November, Johnny, and I haven't heard a lot since then.
Me neither. Yeah.
And I'm kind of paying tabs on it, and attention to it. But, one of my resources that I would always go to, you guys probably remember Brendan Shulman, who was with DJI. And I had him on the show a couple of years ago. Great guy, really had a great conversation. And it was wonderful because he's very much on top of these kinds of things. He's now working for, I think it's a robotics firm up in Massachusetts, but he's still involved and he still knows these things. But I would always watch his page and on Twitter, to get updates about this, because he would be the first one to comment or, post an opinion on something like this.
Sure.
But, he hasn't now since since he's had that new job. But you know, I'm trying to keep tabs on that, and we'll keep an eye on that and see how that goes. You know, and I think, and this is just me talking before we get on to our next subject, I think the drones that we have now, the ones that came, like the Mavic 3, for example, and I think the Mini 3, I think they'll be easily adaptable to have the remote ID on them. I don't think there's going to be. I think they're already maybe pre-built with it already, and it may be just software that needs to be activated.
Well, I have to say, I hope it's pretty easy to do because I'm not tech savvy at all.
Well,
so I hope it's just a little firmware update, and they can start tracking.
I hope so too, Ray. I really do. I hope it's not, and I don't think it's going to be a complicated process. I think they want to try to make it as easy as possible. And I think that's probably where we're going to end up going with that. So,
well, they were talking about having to get a module, right? Correct, a module, and
they have talked about that, but you know, there was also talk about it being built inside the drone as well too. So you know, who knows at this point? I can't. You know, it's just a guess right now at this point. So.
Yeah, and J Dub is. I mean, that's one thing I think the most. He's got a comment up. You know, it's okay. I have no problem with them knowing where I'm flying, but as far as knowing where the remote control is, and you know, somebody coming up to you, that could be a problem, a potential problem.
Yeah, and you know, and I gotta say this. You know, one of the things that I've done, and you know, most of the time, Valerie's with me when I fly.
Yeah.
So you know, I'm not by myself, and I think that's important. You know, and I think, you know, it's not always possible to do that, but I think it's an important thing.
Sure.
To maybe have a buddy there with you or someone you know while you're flying.
I think that's the last I heard, though. I think they were just considering giving it to the FAA and law enforcement. That was the last I sort of heard about.
Okay.
Not the general public.
Yeah, we'll keep tabs on it and see what's going on here.
Yeah.
One of the other things I want to talk about before we get to the Mini 3 is now I did and it was real interesting. I did a video on parachute recovery systems for drones probably about a couple of years ago because it really fascinated me, and looked at some of the various systems and everything, and you know, and their cost and everything. Well, there's Arterion adds drone rescue system to its ecosystem. Apparently, these are three of their modules right here. It's an autonomous parachute product. Operators Peace of Mind, new partnership, emergency black box and data storage platforms. Its black box and data storage capabilities, meanwhile, ensure operators both retain information captured prior to the failure of a drone flight and will have fullest insight into what caused it once the craft came down to relatively controlled descent. And then we have invested a lot of time and effort. The adoption of drones is unstoppable, and believe our system is a missing link for very safe commercial drone uses. We're excited to partner with Arterion to make our safety solution easily available to vehicles powered by. Okay. You know, one of the things that I found when I did my research on this, and this was a couple of years ago, is some of the systems seem to work pretty well and really slowed the aircraft down. But on some of the heavier drones, like a Phantom, you know, a lot of times it wasn't coming down, you know, it's preventing it from a hard crash. Okay.
Yeah. And maybe a sighting, you know, is coming down slower, you know.
Yeah. It prevents it from a hard crash.
Right.
But, you know, all in all, you know, when a push comes to shove, you know, this is one of these things that, you know, to me, I'm like, you know, I don't want to, you know, that's the reason I got drone insurance, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope
for something like this.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know anybody who has one. I've really never heard. This is the first I've heard about it for a drone.
I've seen some YouTube video on it, but I've never. Bill, have you ever seen one in action or
in action? No, but I think Billy did a video on one of them. And
he looked that up. Yeah,
product to test. In fact, I recently, within the past couple of months, you know, I get a lot of emails about products to test. A lot of them are drone related, but someone sent me wanted to know if I was interested in testing a parachute system for the Mavic 3. And I'm like, okay, you know, and I said, let me ask the most obvious question.
With somebody else's Mavic 3,
yeah. Which Mavic 3 am I going to test here? You know,
exactly.
I'm not going to be the sacrificial lamb here to test your, $200 drone recovery system. And because they put a video out and they showed it, but they didn't show it deploying on a Mavic 3. And I'm like, no.
Maybe because they tested it first, Bill. They want. Yeah, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, I found that to be kind of funny.
I know I wouldn't be testing it. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think they have a ways to go with this. I think they've been doing. There was one company that made one for the Inspire 2 that did a great job, but it was $1,500. Okay. It really slowed the Inspire 2 down to where it landed without any damage at all. So
yeah, well, that could be a good thing, but then man, now you're talking about remote ID. Then maybe they might want a parachute system, and then it'll be something else. So man, pretty soon it could be it'd be a whole hassle plan. And then where would FPV drones fit into that category and stuff?
Yeah.
They wouldn't have time to deploy a parachute. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. It opens up a whole another can of worms here with something like this. So, that's kind of where that's going. But, I think it's important to kind of keep a broad knowledge of this kind of thing because, sooner or later, a drone manufacturer is going to start including the recovery system on a drone.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's bound to come, and you'll see it like on the more expensive drones and then trickle their way on down to the other drones here. Which I think is going to be coming. Well, we're at that point in the program that it's Mini 3 time, and what we're going to do is I want to go through a lot of the tweets from Deals Drone and Jasper Allen, and then I want to go through one of the articles from I think it was from Drone DJ, and then we're going to kind of try to get some perspective on this because I've gotten a lot of questions about the release date and when the product's going to ship and, the specs and everything and pricing and all that. So I'm going to take this step by step here. So
I love the leaks. I love these leaks, I do too. Really purposeful leaks by DJI, to get people excited about it.
Very strategic.
It's all about marketing.
Yes, Ray, you are 100% right. And DJI has gotten very smart with that because you know what? Here's how much this is costing them. All right. It's not costing them a dime and they're getting all this publicity from this, which I think is fantastic. Okay. This is from Deals Drone. 829 euros has been confirmed on 2 dealer site. Okay. Now, of course, this is in another language. And I don't know what that language is, but, you're seeing, and apparently, I don't know if these are options down here or not. So, now we're going to move on.
Priced right. That's not too expensive.
I also received news that the release date of the Mini 3 Pro has been changed to May 10th. It is unlikely DJI will be delayed again. So we will see the teaser poster on May 2nd or 3rd. Okay, that's just
which is very soon, yeah.
So the latest Mini 3 Pro render I saw in a Chinese article. I'm sure all promotion pics will leak soon too. People can find this. The rest is just too close to ignore. And then he talked about joining his Facebook group. Now, I've seen these different EU stories listing the Mini 3 Pro's configurations. This is why I had no doubt about them. But it appears the shops have learned how to hide their products. Usually when I tweet something like this, we will see a spec sheet soon. Ciao. And I'm going to bring this up here. DJI Mini 3 Pro Fly More Kit. DJI Mini 3 Pro single unit. DJI Mini 3 Pro with DJI RC remote controller, DJI Mini 3 Pro, a smart controller, and I don't know what the difference is here with this, but we see some prices, and I think, of course, this is just the Fly More kit, and that's just for a single. That's just for the drone itself, and this is with the remote controller, and I'm not quite sure what this one would be on the end down there. So
I don't know. I don't know what that one would be. I could understand that. And we talked a little bit about Drone Nation last night that I think it was $699. And if you have the controller from the Mini 2, and that's really probably not a bad price at $700 if you have the controller already. Of course, if you don't, you may want to, buy the one with the controller, and I guess that's with one battery. So
they're going to let you actually buy just the drone? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Johnny?
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they'll let you buy the drone without a controller, right? And
which I think is a smart move because if you had the Mini, if you have the Air 2S, the Mini 2, you got the same controller in the Air 2S. Mm-hmm. So the Air 2S and the Air 2. So you got the same controller, like you got the same controller 3 times. So
yeah, I've never tried to swap mine out. Have any of you tried to swap yours out?
I have not.
Yeah,
it's going to be real interesting to see how that works. But I think it's also a smart move with DJI, because I think that means what we're going to see here, and we're going to go over this article here in a second. I think what that means here is you'll see a DJI RC remote controller, whatever they're going to call this, a la carte, meaning just by itself. So you can buy that and add that to the drone if you want. And maybe instead of getting a Flymore kit, you get a couple of batteries instead, and then buy your own case.
Yeah, that's the controller with the display, which is, I guess, it's not a true smart controller, but it does have a display,
Right.
Exactly.
Okay. This article on Drone XL, the launch date of the Mini 3 Pro is rumored to be delayed until later in May. And then the release date is May 10th. Jasper Ellen says it's unclear why it would have been delayed. One possible reason is the drone maker wants to make sure the drone is completely finished with all features, operational and ready to fly. DJI wants to prevent another Mavic 3 debacle. Flagship drone was shipped to customers without many of the promised features. Still is ongoing satellite issues 6 months later. Okay. And then already possibly more likely, DJI could be faced with COVID-19 related shipping and supply issues as the virus recently flared up in China. And I want to talk about this for a second here. A lot of people don't know they are super stringent over in China with their lockdowns. I mean, I was seeing some things about that on the news. I mean, their people are basically locked in their places. They're not going out, and they have a zero tolerance policy. So I think that a lot of things have slowed down in China to a crawl. But as I said before, we're going to talk about the shipping of this. I think the product is already here. But we're going to talk about that here in a minute. And we're going to go to this article here. Mini 3 Pros appear on the website of a Dutch retailer specializing in RC, including most important specifications. The Mini 3 will have a 1/1.3 inch CMOS sensor with support for HDR video. Recordings are possible in 4K, 60 frames per second. Photos can be taken in 48 megapixel RAW. APAS 4.0 ensures safe flight operations. I want to stop right there, guys. 4K, 60 frames per second on a mini drone.
It's going to be an amazing camera. There's no doubt about it.
I mean, it used to be, as far as in DJI's consumer lineup, you had to get a Phantom 4 Pro to get that.
And we're talking about a Mini now.
And we're talking, yeah, exactly. How far this technology has evolved. It's come down to get down to the Mini. And I think that's incredible.
It really is.
Because Phantom 4 is trust me, it was one of my favorite drones ever. I really love my Phantom 4 Pro V2.0. But, size, and that's the name of the game, okay? And we're going to a whole new platform, and I want to talk about something here in a minute. Now, filming in 4K, 60 frames per second, 48 megapixel RAW photos, obstacle detection, flight modes, flight time, active track 4.0, spotlight 2.0, point of interest 3.0. It's going to have APAS 4.0. And I know you guys talked a little bit about this last night, and this is something that has really piqued my interest in this drone. A battery that goes for 47 minutes. Okay.
That's a long time.
Bill, I was just sitting here thinking about that. Are we really now? Are we getting what we wish for? Because you're like me, man. 47 minutes in the air would be like, oh my God, I'm ready to come down.
You better have a big SD card in your drone. I got to tell you that.
Yeah, somebody said it last night. You'd have to change the SD card before the battery runs out.
Yeah, that's and it's a good problem. But you realistically, I mean, you think about it, and let's say for argument's sake, you're probably going to get more like maybe 35 to maybe 40 minutes. Okay.
That's a long time though.
With the weather and wind and all that kind of good stuff. But even that, I mean, I've gotten almost a half hour on my Mavic 3. Okay. Not quite, about 25 minutes. Okay. Which I think is incredible. All right. And I've never had the occasion to need to film something for more than 20 minutes. Okay. No. But I think, this 47, it really intrigues me. And I think that's great, especially if you're on a shoot. And I think they're kind of making a statement with this. They're saying this just isn't for hobbyists. Okay. You could be a professional and get this drone and, 4K 60 frames per second, be able to shoot some great scenery, and have that runtime up there to get some great shots.
You'll see a lot of professionals starting to use it. They will be, no doubt about it.
I agree. And I think one of the other things that we see here, okay, obstacle detection, APAS 4.0, active track, this was software again. There was a point in time, it wasn't on the lower class drones. It was only on the Phantom series. Okay. And now, what you're getting on this Mini 3 is just awesome. I mean, it's just incredible. I'm just really tickled about this drone.
Yeah, I would agree, man. Just the flight time and the characteristics of what the camera is going to be. I know Lon talked about, I have the Autel Nano, and of course the low light capability of that drone is a little bit different. But this drone here will definitely be a great drone to have in your backpack, and the smaller, and what we always lose track of in the United States, it's not a big deal for us, but in other parts of the world, it's definitely a big deal under the 250. So, we're a very small, sales in the United States as far as the whole DJI is concerned. Yeah. But, they'll do absolutely. It'll be the drone to get. I can tell you that.
It will be.
That's a good point, Johnny. It really is, and I don't worry about it so much here, obviously. No. In Europe, over there, they worry about
Warren has talked about, especially up in Canada, there's different classes of licenses up there. And, with this kind of a drone, this kind of skirts a lot of that, and same over in Europe and other countries as well too. And I think that's why, one of the things that I really like in what I'm seeing from looking at a lot of the pictures and taking a good long look at it, I think one of the things that really hasn't been talked about is how aerodynamic this is going to be. And I think how it was built to be able to withstand wind. Okay. Because everybody thinks a 250 or sub-gram drone, it's going to get pushed around like crazy, look out, it's not going to do. No, I think they have done their homework with this. I think it's going to withstand wind extremely well. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised at how well this drone flies.
Yeah, the angle of flight is definitely going to be, like the Nano we were talking about last night. It flies flat, and that's what makes it really slow, I think. Mm-hmm. But the Mini 2 gets up and goes pretty damn good. So if the 3 is like that, it'll even be faster. And Lon was thinking, I think it'd be somewhere between 35 and 40 miles an hour.
Well, I had flown my original Mini, and I know you're talking about the Mini 3 here, but the original Mini was so light, the wind affected that drone, and it was the wind warning would go on so much. It did. And I hope that doesn't happen with this drone. And you're probably right, Bill. It won't.
I don't think it will, Ray. And I think, and I agree with my Mini 2, it would be like I'd get up there and be like, oops, wind warning, and there's sometimes you can ignore them and other times you really can't. Okay. And you got to pay attention. You got to be real careful with that, because next thing you're filing a claim with State Farm, or you're contacting DJI Care Refresh because, your drone went in the water or crashed or is not recoverable. And, you're really out of luck at that point in time. And
what's the wind level? Did I see that anywhere? Or have we not?
No, that's a good point, Johnny. That has come across
level 5 again.
I would think, but it's just funny that I haven't seen it. I'm not saying it's not out there. I'm sure it is, but
I haven't really seen anything on that. And I think one of the other things that I wanted to mention tonight was, and I know you guys talked a little bit about it last night, is, conspicuously, this hasn't hit the FCC database yet.
Right.
And, that, a lot of people are worried about it. And here's what I say about this. Okay. The Spark, when it was released, it didn't hit the FCC database until the actual release date. And
really?
That's perfectly fine. It's just, they already have their approval from the FCC. Okay. That's a done deal. That's not a problem. But a lot of people are all hepped up about it and everything. One of the things that I wanted to talk about with both of you, okay, we've seen all we've kind of seen and got a good idea what the pricing and the structure is going to be and everything regarding that. I see a lot of people who are, I don't know if I want to use the word complaining, but, upset about the pricing and upset because, it's a higher price and everything. And, a couple of things I want to say, and then I want to hear your guys' thoughts. First thing is, and I've always said this, is, there's a lot that goes into these drones, okay, with research and development, okay? It doesn't just, these drones just don't happen by accident. Yeah. And you can see the Mini 3 is a totally radical new design, completely different from the Mini 2. I mean, they did this from the ground up, all right? You get a lot of value for your dollar with DJI drones, okay? And realize something too, okay? When you look at the specs of this drone, okay, this really is geared toward, I'm going to call it upper level hobbyists, okay? Ones like us who are, knowledgeable and want to get some great, video or pictures and on a great platform, okay? This isn't the kind of drone that I think a 20-year-old or a 25-year-old is going to go out and buy. Okay. The Mini 2 is going to be around for a while, and that's going to be the kind of drone for them. But for this Mini 3, I think you're looking at people who've been around drones for a while, people who know what they're doing with them and really get the most out of them. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this.
Yeah, no, I agree, Bill. The only thing, price wise, I bought the Nano and it was $900. And I will say this, I know a lot of people wigged out, but for what it does in the way it's flying, I know, Marcus, they had a, problem over in Florida, but he's still working on that. I hope they, Altel does something about that. But, I don't think, phones up, computers up, food's up, everything is up. So I don't think we're going to get, I say, we want all these features and we're going to have to pay for it. You got to step up to the plate. And, even a bigger battery, that battery, I think we'll put that drone over 250, the battery that'll get you to 47 minutes. So, they're going to give you some options, but they all give you an option to buy the drone without a controller, which will save you. I don't know what a controller is, $100, probably 119. But, we want, we're kind of getting what we wish for, besides Apple. If you think about it, if you look at other prices of computer parts, they have went up. Apple has kind of held that price because they're so big and manufacture a lot of their own parts. But, DJI, I just don't think we're going to see, if you want to buy a $299 drone, hey, you're going to get the SE.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to step up to the plate if you want something good.
It's true though, and again, I'm not a big fan of spending a lot of money on like a starter drone type of thing.
Right.
Get your feet wet with a less expensive drone. And I like the idea that DJI is going to separate it. You could just buy the drone, that's a good thing. But somebody who's just getting into the hobby, this is not a drone for them.
Right.
Like you just said, Johnny, the Mini SC is a good starter drone. And I'm going to wait and see. I'm not going to rush right out and buy it. That's for sure. Because, I got the Air 2, I got the Air 2S, and of course I got the Mini, the Mavic 3, and I love those drones. And they're not really big drones. I mean, you're talking Mini versus a Mavic. I carry my Mavic in my backpack now, and it goes with me on most days. It's in my car.
Right.
So.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's basically, I think what it's going to do is taking a place of the Air 2. The Air 2 will no longer be. So you'll settle in with the SE, the Mini 2, the Mini 3, the Air 2S, and then the Mavic 3.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of going to be your lineup, anywhere from $299 to $2,200. I think I actually reduced the Air 3 and Mavic 3 to about $150 recently.
Yeah, they did not
kind of weird and kind of quick that they did that, but hey, I'm sure they got a reason for it.
Akarasho asked a real good question. Does the Mini 3 squash a future Air 3? I would say yes. I don't think you're going to see. I think you're looking. The Air 2S is going to be the last iteration of the Air that you see, and that's unfortunate because I think you guys will agree that's an incredible drone. Okay, the Air 2S. It does almost everything that the Mavic 3 does, in a smaller package, easier to transport. Just a real joy to fly that drone. It's really a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it'll last a 2 or 3 more years easily. Well, even longer than that. Yeah, and I see drone guy saying that Johnny, the SE is discontinued, which probably it is, I guess. So it'll be the Mini 2, the Mini 3.
The drone guy saying the SE's discontinued. That's interesting. Yeah.
And SE was a combination of kind of the Mini 1 and the Mini 2, I guess. It was the Mini 2 motors, with the camp,
I know one thing. I like that. I like the name of that channel, The Drone Guy.
Well, and one of the things, and we kind of touched on this a little bit, but I think being able to, buy, if you want to buy the drone by itself, if you want to buy it and, get that remote controller, you can do that. If you want to buy the Flymore kit separately, you can do that. This kind of started when the Mavic 2 came out, because what they did was, with the Mavic 2 Pro and the Mavic 2 Zoom, and the Flymore kit was in a separate box, which I thought was absolutely fantastic because we saw it when we were in Brooklyn. And I said, you know what? This makes a whole lot of sense. Instead of just having this massive box with everything in it, sell that separately. And that's what they did. And then, one of the things that I have noticed that DJI does, though, which they kind of early on, if you want a lot of these options, all right, I think what DJI does is, for example, with the Flymore kits, these extra you won't be able to buy extra batteries, for example, or extra props right away, because what happens is they save those for the Flymore kits, all right? And it'll maybe a month or so down the road before you can buy those, because I've tried doing that before.
Yeah, remember when the Mini 2 came out? They were selling batteries on eBay for like $50 more because people had bought the Flymore. And if you ordered just the one battery, you couldn't get an extra battery for a long time.
You couldn't. And that was and then I learned, after doing that, one of the times that I think it was when I bought the Air 2, Air 2S. No, when I had the Air 2, I was trying to, I just bought the drone by itself. I was going to buy another battery and a couple other things. These accessories weren't available for at least another 30 or 45 days. Yeah. And it's really, it's frustrating until I figured out exactly what was going on, that they were saved for the Flymore kits. And that's why it was like that. So, I mean, but no, I think they've done a good idea.
Kit is the way to go, though. When you're going to buy a drone, the Flymore
kit really is, Ray, because, you really, and again, talking about getting value for the dollar kind of a thing, I think it really kind of does that. Okay. You really get a lot of bang for your buck when you get the Flymore kit. Although I know a lot of people, and I know myself included, those cases that come with a Flymore kit, they're maybe good for a day trip. Okay. They're not good to travel with. Okay. They're like, if you're going out to the beach or wherever or park and going to shoot, those cases are fine. But for, if you travel or doing anything, you need to get a real case.
Yeah, I got about 10 of them under here. I only use the hard cases, but
Yeah, I'm the same way. John.
Alltail, look, same thing. The bag the Alltail came in. You just can't. I don't know. It's just, to me. I got a Mini. I got the Mini right here sitting in a case. That came with it. So.
Yeah, and for me, well, from at home, my controller's already set up with my Mav mount. And it's good to go. I mean, all I need to do is pop the battery in the drone, pop my phone in the cradle and hook it up, and it's good to go. I have it already set up. So I don't, it's like when I travel, it's in the case, but that's the way that I kind of do it like that.
Yeah, Stephen Ewan is making a good point about batteries. They all kind of getting a little picky on shipping batteries lately, seem like.
Yeah, and I think part of this too, and a lot of people don't realize this, and that's a good point, Stephen. Thank you for bringing that up. Is there's chips inside the batteries too, because these batteries are smart batteries. Okay, and I think, we kind of touched on a little bit about, with what's going on with Apple and the supply and demand thing. A lot of this is because of the chips, and a lot of these chips are made over in China. And, for example, when I bought my new car last year, I had to wait a while, and it's because of the chips. That's just kind of the way it was with this right now. So, that's where things are. I mean, pure and simple.
It's just so exciting though. When a new drone is coming out, all the hype about it, you just get so excited, and you're wondering how it's going to be and when it's going to be released, and how much it's going to be. It's just a lot of excitement, and I'm looking forward to this Mini 3 Pro.
It's going to be good, Ray, and it's going to be good in a lot of circles. And I'm anxious to see how it does in the weather. Because, living in Florida, we get the weather changes. Wait 10 minutes and it's going to change to something else. And the wind can be pretty good when you're on the coast, either coast in Florida. The wind will kick up, so you got to be prepared for that kind of stuff. And I'm real anxious to see how this drone's going to do in the wind. I'm real excited about that.
Bill, I was so disappointed. I slept in today. And it was a beautiful sunrise, no wind. I should have got up and went and filmed it.
No.
And flew, but I didn't.
Well, yeah, and that's one thing that I notice here is when the sun comes up, the more the sun comes up, that wind really picks up, and when the sun sets, I've noticed like at sunset, it's like almost calm. There's no, there's no kind of problems with that. So
somebody's asking about front legs, and the front legs, yes, but it lands on a battery. I mean, as far as landing on a battery, doesn't it, Bill? It looks like.
Yeah, there's kind of like these protruding. I don't want to call them legs, but I'll call them, for lack of a better term, you probably call them legs, but they're real short little plastic pieces on the bottom of the drone.
Right. Yeah, I saw that.
So, I don't know about that. So,
so Bill and Johnny, are you guys going to get the Mini 3 when it comes out?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not gonna beat around the bush and say maybe, yes, I'm getting it.
Yeah. And Ray's right. There's a lot of excitement when a drone gets released with good cause. And, part of this is the community builds up the excitement, which is good. And DJI absolutely loves it because it gives them a ton of publicity. And the other thing that they've gotten really smart is that they do these releases online, that they're not, they don't hold an event anymore because those events cost them a lot of money. I mean, they were great. They were first class, but it cost them a lot of money.
Yeah. I will say though, people in the chat, if you're thinking about getting a Mini 2, and I mean, don't wait. The Mini 2 is a great drone. It's the price point's will be a lot better, and you will love the Mini 2. So don't be afraid to get a Mini 2 just to say, hey, I'm going to wait and spend $400 or $500 more on a Mini 3. I don't say that you would need it, but the Mini 2 flies really, really good. And Ray brought up the point about the Mini. The Mini is very light, and it did have, wind problems or wind warnings. And you even get them very seldom do you get them on a Mini 2, but the Mini 2 is a great drone for the value right now. And it's been reduced a little bit too with the platform. So you can pick up a great drone for $499, I think it is, maybe.
Yeah. Well, the Air 2S has been, they've been discounting that as well too. So, it's a good time right now because there's a lot of excitement. People are interested in it. And, and I got to go back to this. And I first heard this by our good friend, Original Dobo. And, he was the first one I've heard to say, fly the drone that you already have.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. And Marcus kind of closes each week. That's what he says. And Ron too. Enjoy what you have. Enjoy what you have right now. We're excited. We're anticipating this drone coming out. But, enjoy what you have. Take some great video with it. There's a lot of exploring to do with these drones. I mean, the sky's the limit, literally, with these drones.
Yeah, I agree. And look, Marcus brought his Mini SE to the spin up, man. Look, and he was having just as much fun as we were flying. I mean, Ray had the Yeah. So, I mean, you can have fun flying. It's the fun of flying and getting out there and hey, you're relieving some stress a little bit. Yeah, no matter how bad your day was, get out there and fly even if you put it up for 10, 15 minutes, man, the whole day seems better,
It does. It really does. Well, guys, that's about it for tonight. You guys have any closing thoughts?
Just for me, it's just, I love the meetups, and I'm looking forward to whether it's one person or two persons, or the big meetup, the South Florida Drone Meetup. We have it scheduled already. It's April 1st, 2023. Try to start making plans now to come, and I guarantee it's going to be a good time. The venue was unbelievable, and I think you both will agree with me on that.
Oh, yeah,
Vincent Beach Causeway Park was phenomenal.
That is,
I look forward to seeing you all. If you come, we welcome you, and you will not be disappointed. There's no doubt about it.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, and even if you're not coming, let Ray put your name on the list. Yeah. No. Hey, if you're not coming, let Ray put your name on the list anyway, because that way he'll he'll stay off your butt. No. But hey guys, Ray and I, we talked, I guess, Ray the next day, and Ray said, hey, I want to ask you, what do you thought about the venue? And I said immediately, listen, I know there might be 50 parks kind of like that, near the beach and stuff, but that place was it was perfect because of the shelter, the bathrooms, a lot of space. It was the parking. There was really nothing negative that you could say about it at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Ray, a lot of secret locations, and, I'm sure there's some other places like that, but, that it was the hotel we stayed at was very friendly. Yep. And man, they gave us a great rate and everybody hung out there. So, yeah, I don't really know what could have made it any better. It really couldn't have been any better. So,
you guys really kind of hit the nail on the head. That was a perfect site, and, having the shelters there, having plenty of parking there, having restrooms there. I mean, you really had everything on site.
Yeah.
And, and if you wanted to go out and grab a snack or get a bite, it wasn't that. I knew there was a Publix right down the causeway. It was real simple to get to.
Yeah.
If you wanted to do that. And I got to say this, if you're on the fence about it, get off the fence and come to it, because you'll be so glad you did. I mean, we got to meet, some of the other people that I got to meet Art. Okay. And I think, one of the things I think one of the accomplishments for my channel is, we got Art involved in this hobby and really made a difference for him. And Art, our hats off to you. We're so thankful to have you in the drone community. And it was so great to meet you. I know Valerie and I both really enjoyed spending time and talking with you. And thank you for being a wonderful part of this community. And then getting to meet some other people, like Greg Pittman. Okay, Greg, yep. I know you're watching tonight. It was wonderful to be able to meet you and your wife there. It was good that you're doing well. Al Duran was there, Dennis Lovelady. I mean, just all these guys. I mean, Herman and Lawrence from those guys. I mean, just everything. It was just on and on and on.
It was a common cause, and there was no, I hate to say it was like the perfect world. We just had, everybody was getting along, and man, it was just, I don't really know, man, the hotel, meeting up in the mornings, and we stayed up late at night, sitting up in that breakfast area there, and Ray stole breakfast that morning. He wasn't even staying at the hotel. But I did get it added to my bill, Ray, but that's okay. No, but it was great, man. Look, the drone community, I know we talk about it all the time, and everybody's, some people say, well, the drone community, always says that. But hey, those are just words that we're not just throwing those words out. I know I'm not. And Bill, I know, just having people, I don't say, hey, they come up to you and man, we already know you, even though we never met. Well, I know who Bill was. And that's what, it's more like a family reunion, or I would say a high school reunion, and we didn't all go to high school the same year, but,
and there's one other thing that I like to say, and that's to encourage people to bring children.
Yeah.
If you know some teenagers, like last year you brought Bailey, Johnny, and I gave you so much credit for that, even though she made me relocate, but I was so glad that she came with you last year, and that was great to see. And Maddie
we had some kids there, you know, Barry Mullins brought his family, and you know, of course, we had a lot of wives there, and you know, it was great. I mean,
sort of a family vacation, and you know, everybody had a good time. And that don't mean they got to hang around with us flying drones all day, but bring them, and we'd love to meet them, and we'll be more than happy to teach people how to fly. Newbies are welcome.
I see Mark Fisher in here. He brought Ingrid, and you know, Ingrid let Mark hang around with her. You know, it wasn't the way that was the other way around. You know, so.
Well, you know, and I gotta say this. You know, I've never seen more energy in one person than Mark Fisher. Okay, he has 24-hour energy. Okay,
I
love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, it was great. It couldn't have been any better. But yeah, guys, really hey, you know, get out there and fly what you have, man, and enjoy it. You know, we're coming up to, I guess, prime flight time. You know, it'll be getting hot, and of course, it's already hot here. And I know Ray is pretty warming up in Florida, and Bill too. But hey, get out there and fly and have fun.
Absolutely, you know, and I'm going to echo both of your sentiments. Okay, you know. Mark the date down on your calendar.
Yeah.
Jensen Beach is a wonderful area. It's the first time I've ever been down there. It was a gorgeous area down there. And you know, if you're looking also to get some good video in, there's a great, I mean, it's just a beautiful venue to do that at, and just being around and hanging with these guys. I know you guys are here, you know, getting sick of hearing this, but it's true. It really is. You know, you make these connections, you connect with people, you know, when you meet with these guys, it really brings a whole different perspective to things. Okay.
Sure.
You know, you put a name to a face, and, you know, these people. And like I've told Marcus, I said, you know, you look much better in person than you do on video. Okay.
I didn't realize that was the first time that y'all had met.
Yeah. Now, Ron and I had met back in 2019. You know, they came down, they were over, you know, in Clearwater, and we went over and spent some time with
I remember when y'all flew together. Yeah.
Had a wonderful time flying together. So, but no, it's just so much fun. Make sure you guys get a chance and mark it on your calendar and do it. You know, we're not going to make the mistake. We booked a little late, so we weren't able to get in the hotel. We're not making that mistake next year. Okay. I can tell you that for sure. 100%. And
the hotel was great.
Like Johnny said, and Ray said, fly what you got, enjoy what you have. It's an exciting time, and be excited. You know, I hope we were able to clear some things up for you tonight about what's going on with the Mini 3, just kind of give you some perspective on it. It's coming. It'll be here soon. So hang tight. Okay. And I want to thank Ray and Johnny for being on tonight. It's just a blast having you guys. It was a blast hanging out with you guys. And I am so looking forward to next year. Guys, it's always a great day to fly. Everybody take care. Have a great rest of your evening.
Good night, everybody.